Hey everyone, Ace here from Champion NFT Gaming. Today I want to talk to you about why DaveVsAxie is a prime example of the problem that we face in the Axie Infinity community. I'm going to show you my interaction with Dave, explain why I reached out to him, show you the evidence I have, and tell you more about why I feel that he is a problem. Really, at the end of the day, guys, this boils down to Dave being deceptive and lying to his viewers about claiming to be as transparent as they come, and I'm going to explain exactly why I feel that way. First off, let's show you what I sent to Dave, okay? I reached out to Dave to, send him a respectful DM, asking him to clarify. You guys can see the message exactly here. Dave actually posted himself, so, credit to Dave on that one. But I said I was wondering if you could help me understand this transaction in your Ronin wallet. I ended up finding a transaction where G-Host sent Dave 1.5 Ethereum on November 15th, and that's important. I'm reaching out to a lot of content creators, actually, about different transactions, because if they are paid, and that's what I was researching here, right, is I was researching if they are paid for content creation and they're not disclosing that. There's a couple issues. First, it's immoral. Second, it's deceptive. Third, it's against YouTube's terms of service, actually. And depending on the exact situations, there's a lot of situations with many different content creators, it could actually be illegal. Okay, so this is very serious stuff that's going on here. And that's why I'm researching this to get answers. And I mean, you guys could see it right here. I respectfully reached out to Dave, asking him for an answer, saying I basically wanted to give him a chance to talk before I put anything out there. So here's the evidence that I have, guys, and here's exactly why I reached out to Dave. Here's that 1.5 Ethereum transaction from Jiho's wallet to Dave's wallet, and in his Twitter thread, he admits to this being a legitimate transaction. I'll show you guys that here after we go through the rest of this evidence. Here you guys can see on Dave's wallet, he receives that 1.5, and this is where we need a clarification. Here's a second transaction from Geo. So actually, in total, it was 1.61 ETH from Geos, not 1.5. Dave also then sent from his other wallet to himself 0.813. The very next thing he does after he gets this Ethereum, and if we add that up, it's about 2.4 ETH. Exact same day, and watch this timestamp, guys. This is a critical timestamp. Exact same day, Dave goes ahead and he ends up adding this Ethereum, the 2.4 Ethereum, to an AXWETH liquidity pool. You guys can see here's this timestamp. So it's basically roughly an hour after he receives Ethereum from Jihos, he ends up adding this to this liquidity pool. We can also see on his transactions if we then scroll up. So again, here's that transaction. We scroll up here and we keep going, and you guys are welcome to check this all out yourself. This is all public information. We keep going up, we keep looking here, and you'll be able to see a lot of normal stuff that doesn't seem weird at all. But the key thing I really want to show you guys is right here, okay? And I show you that to be fair to Dave, right? But right here, you can see 22 days ago, December 3rd, he withdrew 1 Ethereum. Okay, so the rest he had kept in, and he kept it until December 3rd. Over here, if we look at some dates, right? So Dave ended up putting up an event on November 2nd, where he hosted an event in New York City, and this is what he claims the Ethereum was for. Here's the event. You guys can see November 2nd. Axie Chat actually ended up streaming this one. If we go here to November 2nd, they stream this. And this is an event that DaveVsAxie put together himself. And he mentioned that in his Twitter thread. And I'll show you guys that in a second. But the key thing here is he claims that Jihos gave an anonymous donation to help make this event happen. I find it very rare, at least when I think about it logically, that an event happened 2 weeks before and then Geos gives money, 2 weeks after the event to help make the event happen. To be an anonymous donator to help make that event possible. That just seems suspicious, at least, right? It's a very possible answer, but it seems suspicious. Like, who donates to make an event possible 2 weeks after the event already happened? That just seems weird. Maybe Jihos felt thankful for what DaveVsAxie did and wanted to help pay Dave back and cover some of those costs that Dave incurred. That could be the answer, but it just seems weird, again, from first impression from what I'm able to find here. We can also see then, like on Dave's Twitch right here, we can all go all the way back to October 25th. If we skim through this, you guys can see he didn't upload for a bit, which is totally fine. He uploaded again December 3rd for Axie 10 million, and then the next one after that was a Jihos interview on his YouTube channel, similar story. Here's his last post before the Jihos interview, which was, again, this has the date as well, same with the YouTube, but on December 15th, the Jihos interview. The one before that was on August 9th. So really this transaction is somewhat in the middle between Dave hosting this event in New York City and Dave doing a Jihos interview. And both don't seem to make a lot of sense, right? I don't want you guys to be thinking that Dave did a pay Geo's interview, because it doesn't make sense for Geo's to pay Dave a month in advance. It also seems a little strange that Geo's would be helping donate to make the event possible in New York City 2 weeks after that event happened. And maybe they had a prior arrangement where they agreed that Geo's was going to send the money and Dave was just going to front the cost originally. That's very possible. But unfortunately for us, Dave didn't provide any evidence. And again, I think this is where Dave's being a little bit deceptive, is he's coming out here and he's claiming to be transparent and all this stuff that we're going to get into in a second, but there's no actual evidence that he provided. And I think that's just unfortunate, guys. I mean, that's how it is at the end of the day. But there's some things in here, right? Like this sentence right here. He says, this person decides he needs to know on Christmas Eve why Geo sent 1.5 ETH. This is me reaching out. This is a screenshot of our transaction, of our conversation. Yes, I reached out on Christmas Eve. No, I didn't expect him to respond on Christmas Eve, and I nowhere in this demanded that he responded on Christmas Eve or insist that I needed to know right away. I mean, I'm responding to this thing over a day after he put this up because, you know, I was enjoying Christmas with my family and I expected him to do the same. So this was his choice, and this is deceptive to imply that I was demanding or saying that I needed answers right away on Christmas Eve. I mean, I reached out on the day of Christmas Eve, but that's just deceptive, man. This one as well, you know, saying that it's toxic to ask for clarity on something that's unclear at best, right? And again, based on our public information that we have, this ETH that was sent to Dave is between these two things. And I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's either of these two events, right? Based on my information that I can get publicly. So I reach out to Dave, and that's why I respectfully reach out to Dave to get the clarification. Because I don't want to just make a video throwing accusations out there, right? So I don't understand how that's toxic to try and ask for transparency, especially from somebody who claims to be as transparent as they come. So, I mean, I don't know how it's toxic to get transparency. Maybe somebody can enlighten me on that one in the comments. But, you know, and then Dave brings up, what's the point? Well, the point really is to get transparency, as I mentioned earlier, guys. I don't mind content creators being paid. And Dave then shifts this topic around, should content creators be paid or not? And it seems like he's deflecting and not really wanting to answer that, because really through all this, it's accusations, making up deceptive statements, and deflecting away from the reality of this transaction. You know, there's no evidence posted. He's claiming to be transparent. There's a lot of stuff here that's just inconsistent, and it's making me question what's actually going on here. But the thing is, the point is transparency at the end of the day here. And I'm reaching out to a bunch of other content creators to get transparency as well about different transactions, because I feel like we deserve that at the end of the day as the community. You know, I don't mind personally if content creators get paid or not. I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments down below, but I don't mind if Dave's paid. I have an issue though if Dave's receiving money and not disclosing that to his viewers. That's where I have an issue. You know, he's receiving money from Sky Mavis, I should say, because he talks about how much money he made streaming on Twitch here. But I want to clarify, receiving money from Sky Mavis team, whether it's from Geo's personally, whether it's from the team's official wallet, if you're talking about the content that they're either the core team of or the official wallet from, you know, official wallet of Sky Mavis or Axie Infinity, and you're receiving money from that while talking about their content and talking well about their content, praising their content, that's a conflict of interest if you don't disclose it. You know, if you come out and disclose it, man, that's all good. I don't mind you getting paid. You know, it makes a lot of sense, and you're making a lot of arguments in here about why they should get paid, how they're providing value, doing a job. I agree 100% with you there. I think maybe there was a misunderstanding here. I mean, you didn't really let me speak my point or say why I was even reaching out to you. You just went on Twitter. But, you know, that was your choice, man, and that's all good. Right here, you're talking about, I'm not saying you can't be cynical and dig into the blockchain. This is the last part right here. This is the part I really want to highlight. I'm not saying you can't be cynical and dig into the blockchain. Well, Dave, then why are you saying it's toxic for me to ask a question? Again, I'm not coming off accusing you of anything in this. I'm literally coming out, reaching out to you respectfully to give you respect and give you a chance to clarify what's going on here, because there is no clear confirmation. It does, again, to reiterate, guys, based on our publicly available information, it doesn't make it seemed a little suspicious, at least. Okay, and so I reached out and respectfully asked for clarification. You call that toxic, you know, based on these blockchain transactions. So, you know, you're double speaking here, and it doesn't make sense. You also say get your goddamn facts straight, but you admit in here that it was an anonymous donation from Geos. And I don't see how it would be reasonable for me to be able to find an anonymous donation from Geos or the information that it was an anonymous donation, right? I was able to find the transaction on the blockchain, but how is it reasonable for me to know something that was anonymous, that was not public information? That's again why I'm reaching out to you. I tried to respectfully reach out to you, man. It's unfortunate that you chose to go this route and go on a Twitter rant and just try and blast me, and be a little bit hypocritical, honestly, in some of this. And that's unfortunate. And I hope that in the future you can be more transparent with your viewers about that, because you talk here about being as transparent as they come. Yeah, I don't see any evidence in here at all of what you're talking about, right? Literally, all you had to do is say, here's what it was for. You could say exactly what you said here, number 3. It was from Geo's personal funds. He decided to be an anonymous donator for the event that you put together. All you had to do is say that and show some kind of proof of that claim, and this would have been over. This wouldn't be a video right now. And there's other content creators have done that kind of thing, and that's all you got to do, really. I mean, you're also... It's hard with this whole thing because you're trying to be deceptive and kind of play a victim in a sense here. You're mentioning that you threw this event together 5 days before it happened, all this stuff. You're trying to make it seem, again, like you put this together last minute, Geos threw in money to just help make it possible to happen. But then why is the money from Geos coming 2 weeks after the event? That story isn't consistent. Now, maybe it's you put it together, Geos appreciated it, like I said, or you guys agreed ahead of time that he'd send you some money, but later on. Either one's a valid option, but again, you didn't provide any evidence, and that's really unfortunate, man. I mean, I hope in the future you can be more transparent about this kind of stuff and not be such a problem, really, to the community, because this is the problem where the community members can't trust content creators because if somebody asks a legitimate question, right? This is not just me throwing accusation. If I came out here and I said, I have definitive evidence that DaveVsAxie got paid to do the Geo's interview, this would be a justifiable response. That's not what I did. I respectfully DM'd you. I asked you if you could clarify. Again, respectfully asked you if you could help me understand the transaction. Help add clarity what this was. Instead, you just went on this Twitter rant calling it toxic, asking for transparency, calling it toxic to look at the blockchain transactions. And that's what's unfortunate here, man. I feel like we agree on a lot more than we disagree. Like I said, we agree that content creators should be paid. It's a shame, like you said right here, to see Elijah go and do all this Foxy stuff. I wish Axie would have paid him to keep him here. And some of that kind of, some of those transactions with other content creators. The problem I have, and the reason why I'm making this series of videos on, DaveVsAxie and other content creators, that there's no transparency when it comes down to it, right? They say they're about transparency, but once you reach out, there is nothing. And that makes me really question what Dave's saying here. I mean, how can I trust Dave, right? And he says, if you don't trust them, just don't follow them. That's not a great response, man. I mean, if you're claiming to be transparent, then be transparent. I'm just asking you to stick to your word here. I don't feel like that's asking too much, and I did as much research as I feel like I reasonably could have. I found the 2 different things that were questionable, or 2 different dates that were questionable. I found the transaction that was questionable. But there's no way for me to know who the anonymous donor was. I mean, you're literally saying anonymous, which proves that nobody knew about this. It's not like this was public info, unless that's an incorrect statement, not true statement that you said there. At the end of the day, Dave, I hope that you could be more transparent going forward, and I hope content creators in general can be more transparent, when presented with something like this. And again, I get it. If somebody just came out here, no blockchain transactions, no evidence, and just said, hey, Dave, you're being paid to do a Geos interview or something like that, man, I could get this response. The fact that I came to you respectfully, asked you to clarify, and this was your response, man, is just unfortunate. So I hope to see better from you in the future, man, and maybe you'll come out and provide some evidence backing this up. So that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, I'm reaching out to more content creators, so we're going to have more videos like this. And, again, my goal at the end of the day is I don't have a problem with them being paid. I just want transparency because I feel it's immoral if they don't, deceptive if they don't, potentially depending on the terms of what's happening against YouTube's terms of service, and depending on their local laws, it could even be illegal at the extreme end. So, I hope we can get more transparency going forward and a more clear route, like you said in here, Dave, for content creators to be able to make money. I mean, you were mentioning how you only got $8 an hour, man. That's unfortunate, honestly. I wish that you could get more money, man, but transparently. So that's all I got for you guys today. I will catch you on the next one.